I moved into the house in the fall. It was old and quiet, sitting at the end of a long street where hardly anyone drove by. The rent was cheap, and I was in a hurry to find a place, so I didn't ask many questions. The landlord gave me a weird look when I signed the lease, but he said, "It's been empty a while," and handed me the keys. At first, everything felt normal. The house smelled like dust and wood. The floor creaked when I walked, but I figured that was just part of being old. I spent a few days unpacking, setting up the living room, and moving my clothes upstairs. There were 3 bedrooms, but I only used one. The others stayed empty. The first night I heard the noise, I had just turned off the light and laid down in bed. It was quiet, then I heard footsteps above me. Slow, dragging footsteps. The strange thing was, there wasn't anything above me. I was already on the top floor. There was no attic that I knew of. I told myself it was just the house settling. I tried to sleep. The next night, the footsteps came back. This time, they were louder. Heavier. They moved across the ceiling, then down the hallway outside my room. I sat up in bed and listened. The steps stopped right at my door. I held my breath. I waited. Then, nothing. I got up and opened the door. The hallway was empty. That same night, I heard a door slam down the hall. I ran to check, and one of the empty bedrooms had its door shut tight. I opened it slowly. The room was dark and cold. Empty. I felt a weird chill and backed out. I didn't sleep much that night. In the morning, I told myself it was just wind or bad hinges. I tried to be logical. But things got weirder. One day after work, I walked into the kitchen and found all 4 chairs knocked over. They weren't like that when I left. I always pushed them under the table. The window was shut. The back door was locked. I picked them up, but I felt uneasy. Like something had been in the house. The nights got worse. I started hearing scratching in the walls. Sometimes it sounded like fingernails, other times like something small trying to claw its way through. I'd lie in bed frozen, listening to it crawl from one side of the room to the other. At 3 a.m. one night, I heard the creak of my bedroom door slowly opening. I didn't move. I just stared at the dark shape of the door swinging open. There was nothing there, just the hallway, pitch black. But I felt something. Like someone was standing just outside the door, watching me. In the morning, I found a picture that I'd hung in the hallway lying on the floor, face down. The nail was still in the wall. There was no reason for it to fall. My body started feeling the effects. I had headaches almost every day. I was tired even after a full night's sleep. I looked in the mirror and didn't recognize myself. I was pale, with dark circles under my eyes. People at work asked if I was sick. I told them I was just tired. One night, I heard whispering. At first, I thought it was the wind, but then it got clearer. It was a low voice, speaking words I didn't understand. I pressed my ear to the wall, and it stopped. When I backed away, it started again. I finally decided to do something about it. I'm not very religious, but I went to a small church store in town and bought a wooden cross. I thought maybe it would help. I brought it home and hung it on the wall in my bedroom, right above the bed. That night was the worst. Around midnight, I was lying in bed when the temperature dropped fast. I could see my breath. Then the scratching started again, louder this time. Closer. It wasn't in the walls anymore. It was on the ceiling. Then, something pounded hard, like fists slamming from above. The sound moved across the ceiling fast and stopped right above me. The whispering returned, louder than ever, right next to my ear. I sat up, heart pounding, and stared at the cross on the wall. It was upside down. I hadn't put it that way. I know I didn't. I jumped out of bed and took it down. I didn't even think, I just grabbed it and threw it in the trash outside. When I came back in, the hallway light exploded. Glass shattered all over the floor. That night, I didn't sleep at all. From then on, the house felt different. Meaner. The noises didn't just happen at night anymore. I'd be in the living room during the day and hear someone walking upstairs. Or I'd come home to find cabinets open, drawers pulled out, lights flickering. Once, I heard laughter. A deep, cruel laugh. It echoed from the basement, even though I never went down there. The door was always shut, and I had no reason to open it. But after that night, I noticed the door wasn't staying closed. I'd find it cracked open, just a little. One evening, I found the basement door wide open. It was pitch black down there. I stared into the dark for a long time, heart racing, then slammed the door shut and pushed a chair against it. I didn't know what else to do. The worst part was how it made me feel. I didn't just feel scared. I felt angry, hopeless, like something was trying to break me down. I stopped going to work. I couldn't eat. I started hearing my name being whispered at random times, even when I had music playing. I decided to move out. I didn't care about the lease anymore. I started packing, but strange things kept happening. My boxes would be torn open when I left the room. Items I packed would end up back in their place the next day. One night, I woke up with deep scratches on my arm. 3 long marks, like claws. I don't have pets. I had no idea how they got there. I cried. I felt like I was going crazy. The last night in that house, everything came to a head. It was storming hard, rain hitting the windows, thunder shaking the walls. I was in the living room with packed boxes all around me when all the lights went out. Total darkness. Then came the sound, heavy footsteps upstairs, running. Not walking. Running hard, back and forth. Doors slamming one after another. Something hit the walls. The scratching returned, now on the living room walls. I stood frozen, barely able to breathe. Then I saw it. A shadow stepped out from the hallway. It was tall, almost touching the ceiling. Its body was thin, and its head was tilted like it was studying me. I couldn't see eyes, just darkness. It started walking toward me, slow but steady. I backed up into the kitchen and grabbed a knife. The shadow stopped at the edge of the hallway and just stood there. Then, it let out a low growl that rattled the windows. I ran outside into the rain and didn't stop running until I reached my car. I drove away soaking wet and never looked back. I never went back to that house. I don't know what was in there. A spirit. A demon. Something evil. All I know is, it didn't want me there. It fed on fear. And when I tried to fight it, with the cross or logic or prayer, it got worse. I've been staying with a friend ever since. I still have nightmares. I still hear things sometimes when I'm alone. I don't know if it followed me or if the fear just stayed with me. All I know is I will never live in a house like that again.
Sick of being the monster out of my head, under my bed. Think you're something